let's turn our attention to the task pane. This has got a whole bunch of things in it that make it easy to do specific things with DC-10. Right now I'm going to click on correct the speed of a recording, and our change speed dialog box comes up. What this will allow me to do is speed up or slow down the recording, and also to change the pitch at the same time. Now, why might we want to do this? Well, we might want to do it if we have a recording done from an old tape recorder that, let's say, is getting slower as the reel gets filled up with tape, or from an older turntable that's not at exactly the correct speed. In those cases, we would like to be able to change the speed. And this is a very high resolution tool. It allows us to change the speed in increments of 0.01%, which is quite accurate. So what I can do is preview this, and right now it's going to do almost nothing. It's going to start at its basic pitch and then go down about 0.25%. But I can change that while it's playing. Listen. All right, so you see how the change speed works. And that's an easy tool to understand. The problem is you don't know exactly how much this recording is off in terms of speed. So let's spend a few minutes in doing that little bit of detective work and figure out how to calculate if this recording is on speed. Now, the first tool we'll use to do this is our spectrum analyzer. Now remember, the spectrum analyzer shows us the frequency domain. It shows us the amount of energy or volume at every frequency level. It doesn't show us time at all. Right now we've got the spectrum analyzer set at its highest resolution, an FFT size of 65/536, which gives us a resolution of about 0.67 hertz. In reality, what we'll find is that we don't have pure notes in this recording, and so we may be slightly off on this, but it'll certainly be good enough to tell us if the recording is out of pitch and out of speed. So the first thing to get the display on our FFT is very simple. We just click play. But in this case, I've got a small section highlighted, so I'm going to click loop to give the FFT a chance to average the signal and show us the average frequencies, not the instantaneous ones. All right, so here's the frequency spectrum, and the amount of energy, as you can see, is mostly in the very hearable range of 1,000, 200 or 300 hertz, up to 2,000 or 3,000 hertz, with a little drop off at the end, but this is obviously a pretty high quality recording. But it also doesn't tell us much at all about the accuracy of the frequencies. It doesn't tell us if this is playing at the right speed. In order to do that, we need to focus on a single frequency. And how do we know what frequency to focus on? Well, you could, if you've got a piano, you could just hit notes until you find one that sounds pleasurable in this recording. That'll give you an idea of what the key might be of the recording. Once we don't even need to do that, however, we can look up on a web page and find that there are the frequencies of every note on the piano. And here we see the fifth octave G is at 784 hertz. So how do I focus on 784 hertz? It's right in this area somewhere, but how do I know if the energy is right there where it's supposed to be? Well, we can use one of the only forensics type tools that are included in DC-10. Now, we call this a forensics tool because we don't want you to use this as like it is a high fidelity tool. The other filters, the low pass, the high pass, the band pass, are all very high quality, good sounding tools. The brick wall filter is insanely great tool in that it gives you super sharp slopes, but it doesn't have the good audio quality, the good sound quality as those more traditional tools. So what I've done is I've looked at my target frequency, in this case about 784 Hertz, and I've set my brick wall filter to show us between 770 and 790, and I've moved my filter length up very aggressively. This just steepens the slopes even more, rejecting everything below 770 and everything above 790. And now we'll preview and we'll see the spectrum analyzer tell us what frequency is predominant in that area. But first, I need to clear it so that we'll start out from scratch. Remember, we're in averaging mode, and so it has to average over a period of time to come up with a usable display. It will then paint and point out the frequency with the highest amount of energy right here. All right, so we came up with 7083.94, and remember, we were looking for 783.99. I would say that's more than close enough, and we can now have shown that this recording has not had its speed changed from its normal place. Therefore, we don't need to do any work with it, but we can use the same process with any other recording to decide if it's a little fast or a little slow, and then calculate how much to change in terms of percent with our change speed tool.